Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. XRP price action over the last couple days has been rather fantastic. XRP outpacing, by and large, the rest of the crypto market, certainly all the large cap coins. Specifically yesterday. Everything else in crypto was either down, well, look at large cap coins, was either down or up like a point or two, and then XRP, depending on what point of the day you're looking at, up over 14% over the last 24-hour period. Rather fun to see. But still, this isn't the biggest and most exciting action that I believe is yet to come. And truth be told, I believe that people investing in XRP have the opportunity to retire within a matter of years rather than decades, and the opportunity is real. And I'm not even saying that from this point necessarily a bunch of people listening will have to wait that long. It kind of depends on how much you hold, and well, actually entirely it depends on how much you hold and how long you wait and how the market ultimately performs. Sure, happy to admit all of those things. Those are all obvious things. But the bigger point that I want to get at in this video is that the fastest way to notable extreme, let's just say extreme wealth, that's what it is. Which is subjective, but I think it's a fair term. The quickest way to extreme wealth is investing in the cryptocurrency asset class. The opportunity absolutely has been real. It's proven to be real for 12 years now, roughly. And it's also true that the more time passes, the more diminished the opportunity becomes, because the more money that enters the space, the more money it takes to jump in to get a doubling, tripling, quadrupling effect in terms of money. In terms of market cap and the ultimate asymmetry relative to other asset classes. And so with every subsequent market cycle, there's less opportunity. But still, this market is so illiquid that there's still insane opportunity even right now. So I want to talk about that, and also this idea, there's another, this idea of the up forever people. There's somebody that I respect and think is awesome in this space who has jumped on board the up forever idea, meaning that prices in crypto go up, but you're not going to ever see these 80%, 90% down bear markets for the crypto asset class. I'm just not sold on that idea, but I want to talk about it. I'll save that part for the end of the video. So anyway, plenty to talk about in terms of price action here, but before going further, I do want to be clear that I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos on crypto topics, but just as a hobby, just for fun. There is nothing special about me in that regard. As I record this, XRP is at $1.18. Bitcoin's at $55,442. Market cap for the asset class, $2.36 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 44.24%. And how are the lemmings feeling today? Here's the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, 71 out of 100, indicating that they're still feeling greedy. Good. Like to see that. I don't want the lemmings to be scared. I know what happens. They do it to themselves. Eventually, this market's going to go down and we'll be back in extreme fear again at some point in the future. I just don't know when. But that's going to happen too, and then they'll just be emotionally responding, and I won't. But, lemmings are lemmings. That's what they do. By the way, XRP got up to as high as $1.23 within the last 24 hours. Don't mind seeing that. And look, I am so excited because I've been holding XRP for almost 4 years at this point. Patiently, most of the time my investments have been down, which was expected because I understood the nature of what a bear market is and then climbing back out of it. And so, yes, the last 12 months have been a bit more fun. But look, in terms of where we're going, I think this is a fun reminder here. This is a tweet from chart analyst Leb Crypto from just in the afternoon yesterday about XRP. They wrote, "My favorite chart. I always zoom out, especially in times of uncertainty in the short to mid-term. I continue to be very bullish on XRP and see it as a fantastic long-term investment." And so here's the chart that he shared, showing this rounded bottom, and he's one of 3 analysts I can recall off the top of my head, including DIY Investing and also chart analyst Ambessa, who has shared their own version of this rounded bottom chart for XRP going back to when the XRP bubble popped, January 4th, 2018. That's right where this starts. And so there was this expectation that things would go down for some time. People would accumulate during this period right now where my mouse is moving towards the bottom portion of this bowl, but then it would move to the upside. And as you see, that you can imagine where the continuation of this goes. If this bowl were drawn out further, it would lead to over $20. And that is his expectation, $20 to $30 for this for XRP, this market cycle. Think about that, 20 to 30 fold increase just from here. And don't forget that XRP a year ago was as low as 11 cents. And so this is what we see in crypto, though, again and again and again. And I do, and I'll talk to this again about this more in the later part of the video, but it is true, and I've known this since pretty much the beginning of me jumping in the space. The more time passes, the less opportunity there is in crypto from cycle to cycle. That's still true, but right now, there's still tremendous opportunity. And here's a tweet I wanted to briefly highlight from chart analyst Michael Vanderpop. He said, Ethereum, he believes it's going to $15,000 to $20,000 in the first quarter of next year, 2022. That's just months away, mind you. We're at the tail end of 2021 as is. And I just wanted to highlight again that if XRP matches the market cap of Ethereum, this market cycle like it did last time, do you understand what $15,000 to $20,000 Ethereum means? You're talking about once it gets to the $20,000 region, assuming it does, if Ethereum gets to 20 grand, you're talking about an over $2 trillion market cap. If XRP matches that, you are looking at over $40 for XRP, this market cycle. If Ethereum gets to $15,000 and XRP matches it just like it did last market cycle, you're looking at more like $30. Oh no, only 30s. I can only buy like 20 Lambos. No, like. Shut up. Take your money, damn it. Everything will be great if that happens, right? So I don't know if it's going to go that high. I enjoy sharing these perspectives from these analysts, but a lot of analysts really at this point, on the low end from a lot of analysts, I'm seeing $10,000 for Ethereum. And so, if XRP matches that, somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 XRP this market cycle. So I don't know if it's going to happen. And even when you're talking about the peak, like the peaks are very short-lived. So even if we do see that, it would be for a very short period of time. Most people won't be selling anywhere near the top. And I'm not even going to try and sell the top. I'm just going to sell along the way, just like a dollar cost average in. I'm going to be selling along the way to the top. And it'll be, a lot of quick sales, though, I anticipate, because the ride to the top is much shorter than accumulation mode, which took years. The ride to the top, if you think about it, like last market cycle, the blow off top for XRP took about 2.5 weeks. So I'll be scaling out, but it'll be a lot faster than what happened when I was dollar cost averaging in. Also wanted to highlight this from chart analyst Credible Crypto. He still does seem to believe that the most likely outcome in the very short term for Bitcoin is a bit of a correction. Not quite sure to what degree here, so I just wanted to let you know he's been saying this for days, and that's what's on the screen here. You can I don't feel like I have the need to read it. You can just pause it if you want to read what he shared here. But just want to let you know, because this might make people feel emotions, and XRP might go down. Now, how low would it go, though? Well, somebody asked, hey, Credible Crypto, somebody named Tristan Smith wrote, does recent price action invalidate the possibility of 80-cent region retest for XRP? And then Credible Crypto simply wrote, it makes it a lot less likely. So, because we have been bursting over the last couple days in particular, it's been rather fun to see. I mean, look, over the last 90 days, XRP is up 88%. Don't mind seeing it. And again, that's incredible returns relative to any other asset class, and it's before the blow-off top. This is great to see. This is exactly what we want, right? And then there's this. Okay, so I came across this thanks to chart analyst DIY Investing. He wrote, I see charts like this and realize I'm doing so good for 23. LOL. DIY Investing, you're doing so well. You're doing so well. Let's be grammatically correct. There's always one, right? And it's me, right? And so what was he talking about? Well, there's this chart from somebody named Peter Maluk. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he's a CEO at Creative Planning, and apparently he's an author as well. And he was just sharing some interesting financial related information. And he wrote here, median net worth by age according to the Federal Reserve. And so I'll just make this full screen so you can take a look. So he said Federal Reserve, so this would be numbers within the United States. And so I'm a 38-year-old man. So you can see the bucket that I'm in. The median net worth for the typical 38-year-old, because in the little bucket here is 35 to 39 years. The average, or not average, I'm sorry, median net worth, rather, is $55,519.42. And I see that, and I'm just like, and so, look, any of you, if you're, take a look at your respective age, and if you're in one of these buckets and you're concerned because it doesn't seem like you're on the right path to have enough to retire the way that you want to, I got to share a very positive and real message with you, which is that it's up to you and the opportunity exists. The opportunity to accumulate life-changing wealth. That's what I personally believe. And even outside of crypto, so here's the way I kind of look at stuff. Even outside of crypto, if you start planning young enough, which I think that schools should really start teaching people at a much younger age, but if you do start planning and saving, You know, imagine you start saving in your early 20s, right? And you're putting away a set amount, which doesn't seem like a big amount. I mean, it could be $500 a month. If you do that for several decades, you understand compound interest, right? If you don't, please play with a compound interest calculator. You know, saving $500 a month after 40 years, that's millions of dollars. And so even factoring in what inflation does eating into that, that's just with $500. And still, that's a lot better than not saving and having. Isn't that a lot better than having any of these numbers based on your bucket here? So, but look, so compound interest, that's one way to do it. That would be one fix for society. That would be, or at least it's not like it's one silver bullet to fix all of the financial problems people have, but that would be one big thing. Just drive this message home. Save young and invest. And look, unless you think that the stock market's going away, which I sure as hell don't, because I don't think the United States economy is going to cease to exist, then it's a pretty safe bet. It's a pretty safe bet. But we do have crypto. And so, like, crypto's like, how do you even put this into words? There's so little money in the space that you can accumulate literally in a span of years. Like, say you jump in after one of these crypto bubbles pops and you start investing, in a span of just a few years, you can make what would otherwise take decades in investing in the stock market. And this is not me saying don't invest in the stock market. Do whatever you want to do. For me, being sufficiently diversified makes all the sense in the world, which is why, you know, once I exit this market cycle and I sell most or all of my crypto, that's my plan anyway, I'm going to put it in different asset classes. It's going to be distributed, and I'll talk more about that when we get to that point. But it's going to be in investment opportunities that aren't going to yield the same amount as crypto, but I need to have that security. I want to have less risk tolerance so that I can sleep at night, and that means being diversified. And then I'll probably just, you know, all the rest of the new money I make during the bear market, any new money for my income, I will probably exclusively buy crypto, but everything else I want to keep diversified here. But I'm telling you, like, for the people that have been in over the last few years, been dollar cost averaging in, it depends on how much you purchase and what your time horizon is. But even if you don't have enough after a few years to retire, if you couldn't plug enough into crypto, if we're betting on the right cryptos, then even a few years past that, imagine another market cycle beyond that. It can still be truly life-changing here. And so look, wherever you are, if you're not happy where you are and you don't like the job that you have, I feel you. We've all been there. But the opportunity absolutely is there, and it's just up to you to change it, which is why, although I'll never tell you to buy or sell or hold anything, I'm not going to offer financial advice. I'm just saying that if you understand a few basic things about how to invest in the stock market and crypto, because a lot of the same things you have to do in the stock market and crypto, they're very same things, like have a sufficient time horizon in mind, don't emotionally respond, don't FOMO, don't panic sell, all that stuff, it applies. It's just harder to apply it in crypto because the market's that much more volatile, but it has been trending up for 12 years, and so I just look at the data and then I just don't freak out. But man, like, truly life-changing wealth is to be made here. And so even there are some people jumping in now that, I'm telling you, there's not going to be too many jumping in now that, like right now, that will have life-changing wealth this market cycle, but there will be a small percentage even jumping in now that have the means to put in something, and even that will be life-changing for them. Because if you're talking about in short order, if this goes where we think it is, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40-fold increase in terms of what's being invested here. And so it's so real, though. I mean, and think about this. Even with XRP, it was at 11 cents in March of last year. It ran up to just about $2 in April. Well, even that, you're talking about close to a 20-fold increase already in a time span of just over 1 calendar year. Like, so even with XRP, it's already proven XRP still has the ability to do this, and we're seeing how humans behave. There's still a frenzy around all of this. And so I just think that it's a really empowering message to recognize that this is all in your hands and you can choose to do this. And if you're listening to this, I'm willing to bet you already are. In which case, again, kudos to you. So we aren't stuck where we are. There are ways out of it if we're not happy with what's going on here. And I'm just like, I'm no different than you guys. You know, I'm plotting my own path forward. I've been doing this for, you know, being in crypto almost several years because I'm just a long-term guy. And it's funny for crypto, that's long-term. That's short-term, kind of. Like, I mean, to me, anyway, it's subjective, kind of. But if you're talking about the stock market, I'm like, 4 years, well, let it ride, man. Like, let it ride a bit more. But it is true, you know. Just give it time. And it's just, but yeah, you know, it is more risky because the biggest hurdle is yourself. And so, like, I understand human behavior, which is why I would say that for perhaps most people investing in crypto, it might be too risky. But for those that can manage their emotions and understand some very basic things and can implement like their own strict policy, like those are the people that are going to find success. But it does require understanding that, so you can be vigilant and not let the emotions get the best of you, which I'm not convinced most people can do. Which, that's why it's like, hopefully everybody here listening, I have a feeling it's the case, is a little bit different, especially with a recent poll that I put out in terms of the way that you guys were feeling about the market. I think people listening to this channel probably are not the norm. I think it's pretty safe to say. But most people out there, no, they're not like you guys out there listening. So just sit tight, though, because the greatest, biggest, best fireworks are yet to come. And that's not the end of it, though. Like, even after this market cycle, I'll tell you what, even if you don't get what you want out of this market cycle, and for many of you that may be the case, it's still okay. And I say that because I know there's a lot of new people, too, or even if you've been around years, maybe you didn't have the means to put in quite what you wanted. Crypto's not going away, folks. And still, I personally believe this is the quickest way to truly life-changing wealth. And so just do what you want to do. But, man, to me, it just makes sense to put the money in here. Then once I profit, I'm going to put it elsewhere, and then it's going to stay elsewhere forever, never go back into crypto, and then my new money will just go back into crypto. That's kind of my plan right now, anyway. Take a look at this now. So as far as what to expect in terms of this up forever notion, you guys have heard this, right? I saw, who else was talking about this recently? There are a number of people. Willy Woo he's very well known. I think he's got like almost 1 million followers at this point on Twitter. Then there's, I believe, Raoul Paul was also. Or maybe was it him, or was it? I think it was him. I could be mistaken. It could have been Michael Saylor, but I don't think so. But here's the headline from the Daily Huddle: Brutal Bitcoin bear markets a thing of the past, says crypto investment giant CEO. But there's a catch. And so what they're talking about here, you'll see as we go through, it's this idea that we're never going to see these crazy bear markets like we've seen in the past. And in this case, it's coming from somebody that I think is an incredibly sharp guy. And I was kind of surprised to see this from him. And based on what I've seen to this point, he hasn't swayed me. But I'm open-minded, so if there's more to his argument that I'm unaware of that wasn't published here, yeah, okay, bring me data and I'll just be swayed. I'm not beholden to any particular position, and I'm always evolving. Anyway, the CEO of crypto investment firm Pantera Capital says that brutal Bitcoin bear markets where Bitcoin plummets over 80% are now a thing of the past. In a new edition of the blockchain letter, Dan Moorhead says that Bitcoin has entered the post-halving era and no longer follows the extreme volatility of previous market cycles. And here's a quote from him. I believe we are done with the 4-year halving cycle and on to the next price era. We've updated charts we've used since 2014, showing the major bull and bear markets. My sense is that we finished the halving cycle in April. We had a period of temporary insanity where Chinese mining bans were thought to be negative and a few people had blockchain ESG upside down, and now we're in a new bull market. I long advocated that as the market becomes broader, more valuable, and more institutional, the amplitude of price swings will moderate. So let me pause right there. That last part, I do agree that I've thought that for years, and I've talked about it for years on this channel. That last part we said I've long advocated that as the market becomes broader, more valuable, and more institutional, the amplitude of price swings will moderate, meaning the degree to which it swings, it'll become less. Of course. Why wouldn't it? Of course it will. Like I said at the outset of the video, as more money enters this space, what it takes to double or triple or quadruple whatever the market cap is at that point in time, it's that much more difficult. And so with the markets being as illiquid as they are, that's why there's so much opportunity. That's also why there's all this volatility. It comes hand in hand. It's just part of what it is to be here. But which is why I've always said at some point, trading cryptocurrency, it's going to be as boring as trading precious metals or stocks. It will get there. It is going to, which is why I'm so thankful that we're here right now while that's not the case. We're very fortunate. This is a once in a species event. You can't recreate this type of technology. Like it's the genie's out of the bottle, and we happen to be living at the moment that it was created. That's incredible. This has never happened in the history of mankind, which is why I'm not going to squander this. I'm absolutely invested in this freaking asset class. I'm here for the volatility. But eventually that will diminish. And so I buy into the concept. It's more like, is it happening now? Are we at the point now where you're never going to see a bear market where Bitcoin crashes 80 or 90% or whatever the number is? Well, I'm not convinced of that, but let me read a little further. According to Moorhead, the new price era will usher in bear markets that are milder than the 2014 and 2018 corrective phases. And here's a quote. While we've had 2 down 83% bear markets already, I believe those are a thing of our primordial past. Future bear markets will be shallower. The previous 2 have been negative 61% and negative 54%. And here's a chart. So the one where he's saying down 61%, where is it? Where's I just looking on here? I saw it before. Oh, here we go. So this would be right around, when the whole pandemic thing hit and stock market crashed. So it would have been March of last year, I guess, right? And so anyway, yeah, down 61%. And then, so that was, a year and a half ago, roughly. And then down 54% this year over the last several months or whatever the hell it's been, right? So that's what he's talking about. So he's already saying it's shallower. Well, I mean, I look at that and I'm like, okay, well, from 2015 to 2017, we had something like, was it 9 corrections that averaged 30, or was it 7? 7 or 9 corrections that averaged 37%, so some were higher, some were lower than that. So already that doesn't seem particularly different to me. But so what would it take for me to agree with him? Well, he ends up saying something here that I've actually said before too, which is that, if we're not going to see a negative 80% or whatever it is, 70, 80, 90% down Bitcoin, if we're not going to see that, that will mean that we also don't see a parabolic blow off top. If we agree that we see that never happens, the parabolic blow off top, if that never happens, then okay, I'll be like, yeah, of course. Why would we see a downside of 80% if we don't see the blow off top? They go hand in hand. You're not going to get one without the other. And so I'm saying, because here's where I have trouble with the people that say we are going to have parabolic movement to the upside, but then it just doesn't ever deflate. Because they're basically saying, yes, a bubble inflates, but it can't deflate. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Anytime a bubble inflates, it will pop. It's just a matter of time. The market will correct. It's a market correction. Of course it's going to correct. But for the people that say, no, it's not just that we're not going to have those drops, the 80 to 90% drops. We're also not going to have the huge increase to the upside like we've seen historically. For the people that say that, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not so sure I agree with you that we're not going to see those big moves to the upside, but that makes more sense at least. If you're acknowledging that one requires the other, then we're on the same page here. And so here they write, however, Moorhead emphasizes that shallower bear markets come with one catch. And here's the quote from him. Unfortunately, there's no free lunch. The flip side is we probably won't see any more of the 100x in a year rallies either. And then he writes in parentheses, there's an amazing coincidence of the numbers, negative 82, I guess it's percent 3 and then 4% on here. If it ever hits negative 83% again, I'm going all in. Yeah, and I would too. And that's my intent. Like I keep saying, I will buy everybody's fear when the market happens. It's going to happen. I believe it will anyway. And the only way, again, it won't, is if there's not this massive move to the upside, this final blow-off top. So we'll just have to see if that's the case. But eventually, yes, it's going to get to the point where it's going to become less exciting. But even as it starts to get into that phase, like even if we're there now and I'm just wrong, which I could be, say we're there and I just don't recognize it yet and time passes and I'm like, okay, fine, I was wrong. If that happens, this is still an asset class that's going to outperform every other asset class. And so there's still that opportunity for life-changing wealth. Just imagine over the next 5 to 10 years what's going to happen. So I'm still on board either way. Like it doesn't matter. This is still fantastic here. But I don't see the evidence, and especially you look at how many coins have gone 100x. Like you're still seeing pockets of the insanity here. Like I'm still seeing humans behaving like they were several years ago, and you're telling me that that's not going to happen now? We just saw, as he cited here, 61 and 54% drawdowns within the last year and a half. Well, that's not new. That's what we've been expecting. So unless there's something key that he hasn't articulated here, he hasn't sold me on the idea. I'm willing to be persuaded, and he's a sharp guy for sure, and I respect his opinion. But I'm not seeing it, folks. I'm just not seeing it, because look for yourself. Doge and Shiba, and all these coins. Hell, look what Ethereum Classic did earlier this year, and I don't even think that Ethereum Classic is done. It's like there's all sorts of craziness that's been happening. If you look at the bottom of this market cycle to where we are now, my gosh. So many coins have had 100x rallies, and so I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going 100x from here, this market cycle. Like, I'm not saying anything even close to that. You're talking about $100 trillion market cap for it at that point. But there are coins that are illiquid where there is that opportunity. That's what I'm saying. And XRP is supremely illiquid compared to Bitcoin, which is why there's so much opportunity. Bitcoin is, as I record this, over $1 trillion in market cap. XRP is only at 55 billion. Okay, so it needs to have a 20-fold increase to catch up to Bitcoin. Do you think it can happen? Because I do. I'm not going to make a price prediction, but I believe that's something that could possibly happen. And I don't think it's going to stop there. And I think Bitcoin's going to keep going up too. So there you go, despite dramatic drawdowns. So that's where we're at now. You guys tell me what you think, but I'm not sold on this. I acknowledge I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. And so that's where I'm kind of planting myself there. Again, you're going to have to articulate the reason why, because I'm sitting here looking at the fact that there is mania here, there is a frenzy, people are still behaving like they have historically, and it's not clear which cryptocurrencies are going to be winners, and the market does still move in tandem, and I'm supposed to believe that we're not going to have a blow off top this time? I mean, maybe it's possible next market cycle, but I'm just not sold on it yet. So let me know what you think. I'll go ahead and stop yapping. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.